phony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kello Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It is great to have you along. Wow, this story involving Rob Reiner. Now his son Nick has been arrested, according to TMZ. He's being held on $4 million bail. So this is Rob and Michelle Reiner's son Nick, 32 years old. He's being held by authorities as of this morning, and we're learning more. They were found, literally, their throats. Yikes. TMZ said that it's unclear what exactly triggered the violence, but it may have occurred after an argument with a family member. The identity of the family member has not been confirmed. Friends and collaborators, Billy Crystal and Larry David, were seen leaving the couple's home last night looking very distraught, as anybody would be, especially if you're friends with Rob Reiner and he and his wife are murdered in their home. I think you'd be fairly distraught. Billy and his wife, Janice, TMZ says, appeared sad and emotional, with Janice wiping tears from her eyes as the two left the area as police were roping it off. So a number of tributes are coming in, including from Barack Obama, Stephen King, Ben Stiller, a number of others. So Rob Reiner was 78 years old. His wife was 68. And the news of that is really kind of disturbing. New York Post has some more reporting on this. And their daughter told police that a dangerous relative should be a suspect. So their daughter told investigators that a relative should be a suspect because they're dangerous. That there was some kind of a heated argument that took place. Trying to see if there's anything else here that was said. So Nick Reiner being, he's under arrest now, according to TMZ. Authorities had said earlier he was a person of interest. Forgive me as I'm scrolling down here, trying to see if there's any other news. Authorities said last night no arrests had been made. TMZ now saying that has changed. Officials did not initially identify the Reiners as the victims, just saying, the early stories, oftentimes they don't come out with the identity initially. So Billy Crystal was a longtime friend of Reiner's, spotted arriving at the home Sunday night after the news broke. Crystal looked like he was about to cry, according to ABC7. Larry David was also seen there. So you remember that Rob Reiner had been married initially to Penny Marshall. And then he married photographer Michelle Singer in 1989. And they had 3 children together, 2 sons, Jake and Nick, and a daughter, Romy. Just a sad story. Reiner initially has an adopted daughter, Tracy Reiner. In fact, that was from his first marriage to Penny Marshall. In fact, speaking of her, she is talking, Tracy Reiner, saying she is in shock over her dad's death. So she was adopted then during Reiner and Penny Marshall's marriage. They were married for 10 years, 1971 to 1981. And Tracy said, I came from the greatest family ever. I don't know what to say. I'm in shock. A lot of photos in these stories. So you may remember her as Betty Spaghetti in A League of Their Own, because Penny Marshall directed that movie. And Penny was married to Tracy's biological dad at that time from 1961 to 1962. Penny and Rob, meanwhile, grew up across the street in the Bronx from each other, but they didn't know each other at the time. Lots and lots of photos. It's just such a sad story. I mean, seriously, this is just absolutely incredible. So she is the one. I'm trying to see who it was who had found the two of them. I think it was her who found her parents at their home. And it's just a little bit crazy. Yeah, there are a lot of reports talking about Nick being in rehab. He went to rehab at the age of 15, and he was in and out of rehab a number of times. I think in his he wrote a autobiographical film called Being Charlie. 17 visits to rehab. Wow. That is absolutely incredible. So now Donald Trump weighed in on this. I don't know that this was a smart move on the president's part. President, within the last hour on True Social, says a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. Can you imagine what's going to hit the fan after Trump says this? He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. I think it would have been a better on the president's part to have just said nothing. Just said nothing to let that story play out. Let's see what's discovered and what happens. It's, these are such incredibly, can you imagine if you're a friend of Rob Reiner's or a family member of the Reiner family, and then the president weighs in and then this is what he's saying? It's just one of those, I saw that and I went, really? Oh, I really wish somebody would take away the keys to True Social. Sometimes it's just a heartbreaking story. You've got other people who are weighing in as well. Director Ron Howard. He and Rob Reiner were friends for a long time. And Rob Howard says, our careers and our lives intersected often over the decades, from Rob writing the pilot script for Happy Days, and then as we shifted from acting careers into directing and producing, he said he proved to be a superlative filmmaker, a supportive colleague, and at all times a dedicated citizen. Rob will be missed on so many levels. My heart goes out to his family and his many close friends. Yeah, you have to. You have to. I think it's just, if you've got any humanity. Stephen King paying tribute to Rob Reiner. He said, I'm horrified and saddened by the death of Rob Reiner and Michelle, wonderful friend, political ally, brilliant filmmaker, including two of mine. He said, rest in peace, Rob. You always stood by me. Cheryl Hines, who is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s wife. Cheryl Hines took to Instagram and shared a post about him, saying the loss of Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner is devastating. I met them 31 years ago when I began working for them as an assistant and instantly loved their generosity, humor, and unwavering inspiration. Their legacy lives on in the countless lives they touched and the countless ways they made the world brighter. This is the snapshot that stays with me. And then she posted it on Instagram. And it's Reiner is also being remembered because of his reaction following the death of Charlie Kirk. And Reiner had been among those who was out there praising the beautiful message, he called it, of Erica Kirk following Charlie's assassination. So when he was asked about Charlie Kirk's death, he said, horror, absolute horror. I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's indescribable. He said it's beyond belief what happened to him. That should never happen to anybody, which is now so weird that this is how many of us feel, right? The way that Rob Reiner died, many of us saying this should never happen to anybody. Nobody should ever die like this. He said, I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution. I feel like what his wife said at the memorial was exactly right. Totally. I'm Jewish, but I believe in the teachings of Jesus. I believe in do unto others. I believe in forgiveness. And what she said was to me beautiful, he said. So you got a lot of reaction here to the death of Rob Reiner. That really is, I think, the story of the day today is what happened to Rob Reiner. But now, according to TMZ, his son is under arrest, and it's just a shocking. You hear stories like that. I hate sharing them with you. I really do. I mean, but that is what, unfortunately, is what's going on in our world. And at this point, I think just so many people suffering with loss, and that's difficult to see. It's bad enough when the way that he was killed and the details that we're learning that are really grisly, and then you see the family and the friends and everybody who's torn apart by that. It's just such a horrific end that you really hope people can come together a little bit. I want to give you a heads up. I'm going to be on vacation beginning on Friday. So no Greg Belfrage show on Friday. And then I'll be gone all of next week, just enjoying the Christmas holiday. So I want to let you know ahead of time. And I'm going to leave it there for today. You have made it to the end of the video. So you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those folks that are here each and every day, commenting on YouTube, sharing their thoughts, emailing me. I appreciate all of you. So until tomorrow, my friend, I'm underground and gone.